Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Ellison, and here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. In order to ensure the Vatican Bank's activities are in harmony with the mission of the Universal Church and the Apostolic See, Pope Francis has created a 5-person commission to review the activities and mission of the bank. The new Pontifical Commission will collect information on the running of the Institute for the Works of Religion, the formal name of the Vatican Bank, and then present the results to Pope Francis. The commission includes 2 U.S. members, Mary Ann Glendon, who serves as president of the Pontifical Academy of Social Sciences, in addition to teaching at Harvard, and Monsignor Peter Wells, a priest of the Archdiocese of Tulsa, Oklahoma, who will serve as commission secretary. The commission, which has already begun its work, is part of the Pope's larger efforts to reform the central offices of the Church. In news from around the country, on June 26, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the Defense of Marriage Act, which defines marriage as between one man and one woman. Archbishop Salvatore Cordileone of San Francisco spoke with Catholic News Service in Rome about the Supreme Court's decision.
Obviously, I'm very disappointed, and I'm very worried about the future of our country and the future of our children. The court overturned a law that respects and enforces the principle that it's in the best interest of the child to be raised by their mother and their father. The state has an interest in protecting that right and supporting parents in raising their children. The effect of the court's decision is to undermine in the law the principle that children have a right to a mother and a father. I've said all along that regardless of how the court decides, our work remains unchanged. We need to catechize our people about marriage. Again, this change in the idea of marriage has been going on for a very long time. So even if the court issued a ruling that we liked, we still have a lot of work to do in helping our people understand what marriage really is, why marriage is important for the public good, and why it's essentially an institution to support social justice for the sake of children.
The Supreme Court also refused to rule on the merits of a challenge to California's Proposition 8, the voter-approved initiative barring same-sex marriage. The court sent the challenge to Prop 8 back to lower courts, saying the individuals who defended the law in court lacked the legal standing to do so. More news from around the country. This week marked the 75th anniversary of the creation of a federal minimum wage when President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the Fair Labor Standards Act. On the day of the anniversary, Bishop Stephen Blaire of Stockton, California, chairman of the Committee on Domestic Justice and Human Development at the USCCB, addressed a Senate hearing about the importance of fair wages and the dignity of work. He said that currently half of American jobs pay less than $27,000 a year, and there are more than 46 million people living in poverty, 16 million of them children. Today, federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour and $2.13 for tipped labor. The minimum wage was last raised in 2009 and tipped wages in 1991. Bishop Blaire said that it was unacceptable that the current minimum wage yields an annual salary of about $15,080, which, according to the Census Bureau, is below the poverty level for any size family that includes even one child. More news now from the Vatican. Pope Francis in his daily mass this week talked about 2 main categories of Christians. Rome reports has more from the chapel of Casa Santa Marta.
During his daily morning mass at the Vatican, Pope Francis talked about what it truly means to be a Christian. He said there are many people who claim to be Christians but don't really live out their faith. The Pope said there are 2 main categories: those who try to separate Christianity from Christ and those who live out their faith rigidly and without joy.
I primi hanno certa allegria, fra virgolette, superficiale. Gli altri vivono in una continua veglia funebre, ma non sanno cosa sia la gioia cristiana, non sanno godere la vita che Gesù ci dà, perché non sanno parlare con Gesù, non si sentono su Gesù, con quella fermezza che dà la presenza di Gesù. E non solo non hanno gioia, non hanno libertà. Questi sono schiavi della superficialità, di questa vita diffusa, e questi sono schiavi della rigidità. Non sono liberi. nella sua vita lo Spirito Santo non trova posto.
He then added that Christianity is not just about beautiful words, but about truth and action.
And more news now from around the country. The U.S. Senate has voted 68-32 to approve the Comprehensive Immigration Reform Bill. The bipartisan vote was the first attempt to tackle such reform in 6 years. The bill could send resources to the nation's southern border and offer millions of undocumented immigrants a path to legal status and eventual citizenship. The bipartisan Gang of Eight that drafted the legislation that was first unveiled in April appealed to the Senate prior to the vote. To mark the occasion, Vice President Joe Biden presided over the vote. Now the bill will go up against the GOP-led House, where Republican leaders are vowing to move forward on their own measures. And finally in the news, a federal district court judge has ruled that the statue of Jesus erected on federal land at Big Mountain in Montana can stay where it is. In his ruling, U.S. District Judge Dana Christensen said that leasing public land within a private ski resort to a private organization that maintains a statue of Jesus does not violate the Establishment Clause of the Constitution. He also said that the statue does not convey to a reasonable informed observer that the government endorses Christianity over any other faith. For the past 60 years, the Knights of Columbus has leased from the federal government national forest land at Big Mountain to put up the statue. The Freedom from Religion Foundation sued in 2011 to block the reissuance of a permit allowing the statue to stay at that site. And that is all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.